Thank you for joining me for this session of when is a good time to sell your home. Now, granted, that's going to vary from individual to individual. It's not going to be the same. Different individuals, different families have different reasons. But what I want to talk to you first about is being subjective versus being objective when it comes to selling your property. Those are two things. Now, the subjective features are the person that's lived in the home, meaning that you've been there for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It's the house that's been in the family your entire life. It has a lot of subjective value. Now, unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't come into play when it comes to selling your property. Now, as a realtor, it's my job to be objective. Now, I'll look at some of that subjective value, but I have to be objective and tell you, hey, these are some things that are really going to help you move the property because of X, Y, and Z. Objective values. Now, here are some things that I look at as an objective value. One, comps in the area, comps in your neighborhood. What are comps going for? If the property next door sold for $400,000, it's going to be a little unlikely that I can get you $600,000 for your property, especially if the comps are there, meaning it's the same size, the same square footage, a lot of comparable things as far as bedroom, bathroom counts. Those things come into play, and it make it a little difficult for me to get you $600,000 when the house next door just sold for $400,000. Now, subjectively, you may say, hey, well, we had, a lot more parties at our house. We had a lot more events. This is a really good family house. We did a lot more with the backyard. Again, if the lot size is pretty similar and the square footage of the house is pretty similar, it's not going to be a huge variance in the price. Some, but not a lot. Second thing is going to be desirability, and that goes also kind of tying that into like square footage and size. A 4-bedroom house, for instance, is going to sell for a little bit more than a 3-bedroom house. 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house is going to sell for more than a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Typically, per bedroom, per bathroom, you're adding about another $15,000 to $25,000, depending on the particular neighborhood and area that you're buying in. So just rule of thumb, $15,000 to $25,000 per bedroom, per bathroom. That's going to be something that comes into play. Square footage, desirability, bedroom, bathroom count. Last thing is ultimately going to be market conditions, meaning is it a buyer's market, is it a seller's market, and that's going to play a lot in the overall assessment that I have in being objective. So let's review that. Comps in the area, square footage, desirability, and then there's market conditions. Market conditions help me to give an overall market analysis as to what the property value is going to be for your particular property. So that's subjective and objective. My role as an agent is to be as objective as possible to help you maximize the dollars that you can get for your property when you decide to sell it. So why is it a good time to sell? Well, someone may be willing to upgrade or looking to upgrade their location. They may want to upgrade their location because their house is getting too small. Take me, for instance. I purchased a property when I was about late 20s, and I was single with no dependents. We had a 2-bedroom property. It was me and a roommate, and 2 bedrooms were plenty. We had 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. They had their own bathroom. I had mine. It worked out great. Then the roommate moved out, got married, 1 child came into play, 2 children came into play. Well, the property's getting a little small. So at some point, we're going to have to move. Now, right now, both of the kids are really small, so it's not a huge deal. But as they get a little bigger, we're going to want to stretch out a little bit more. So it may be time to upgrade. That could be a reason that you may want to sell, because it's time to upgrade. School districts, speaking about kids, school districts always come into play. I was talking to a family that's looking to buy in the El Segundo area. And we said, well, El Segundo's prices are a little higher. How about just a little bit east in the Hawthorne? I think it's the Windsor School District. And they said, okay, well, let's look in that area. Because, for instance, school districts are a thing that families definitely take into consideration. I mean, K through 12, being able to go to a public school versus having to go to a private school makes a big difference. And rather than spend the money, for instance, on private school, being able to go to a public school, that could be a little bit of a savings for you, be able to afford a little more house. Now, also, maybe you've just outgrown the area. The area may be a little small for you. Simply, it was a place you grew up in, K through 12, went to college in the area, now it's time to move on. Or there's a job transfer. You may be just overall looking to upgrade a location, move a location for any of those various reasons. Another reason it may be a good time to sell is just because you're looking to cash out. You know, I mean, granted, property values now have come down from where they were 5 or 6 years ago, but at the same time, you may consider this particular point in time a good time for you to cash out. You know, you still may have a little equity in your property and can move away now and do something with that. So it may be a good idea to cash out. But the flip side of that is, what if you're upside down? Well, some people are upside down, and you know, property values have come down in a lot of areas, and some people, for instance, are upside down and can't afford the particular monthly mortgage, so they may be looking to do a short sale. Speaking of being upside down, you know, maybe the property across the street just sold for $200,000 less than what you purchased yours for. So based on that, you may say, hey, you know, I can't really afford where I am. My mortgage has adjusted. Maybe there's a loss of a job, downsize, or overtime is cut back. Those are various reasons that may lead you to want to sell your property. And if your property is upside down, and typically you're looking at a short sale. And short sales require bank approval, and that's another process. We're working on some short sales now in the office, but you know, those things take a little while. So again, is it a good time for you to sell? Well, maybe if you're looking to upgrade your location, maybe if you're looking to cash out, or just, you know, the market hasn't been good to you and you want to consider doing a short sale. Those are various reasons to consider selling your property. Now, the top things that determine how fast a property will sell. The number one thing is going to be desirability. By and large, desirability is the number one factor that determines how fast your property will sell. What I mean by desirability? Well, I live in Los Angeles, so of course the properties that are closest to the ocean are the more desirable properties, and the values are the highest. So based on that, that's one thing to look at in LA. Now also we have neighborhoods, and certain neighborhoods have better qualities than others, so desirability can also be based on the neighborhood. I talked about it just a little bit earlier, talking about school districts, but that's one big thing that determines how desirable your particular neighborhood and area is. Low crime rate, that's another issue. The lower the crime rate, of course, that's going to be more desirable than an area that has a higher crime rate, so the prices are definitely going to be different. Last but not least are the features and qualities. Features such as how turnkey is your property. What is the square footage and the lot size in the neighborhoods where you are? Those things are going to determine desirability. Now let's look at turnkey just for instance. Turnkey in this day and age is going to be properties that are pretty desirable as far as what their features are. Key features in this particular market are more contemporary. Hardwood floors, crown molding, base molding, granite countertops, fireplaces. Those are things that really make properties more desirable. Large lot size, corner lots, curb appeal. Again, those are things and features that make properties really desirable. So is it a good time to sell, or when is a good time to sell? It's going to vary. There are a lot of variables to take into consideration. Me as a realtor, my goal is to be as objective as possible, to give you some insight as to what the market looks like, what I could potentially help you get for your property based on objective things, the comps, for instance, the market conditions, and things of that nature. I hope I shed some light on a few things for you this evening. Feel free to give me a call at 310-670-3002 or shoot me an email. My email is emil@ezxco.com, or you can visit us on the web. We have some other good YouTube posts as well. www.ezxco.com is our website. Feel free to give us a visit. Look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, take care.